Ladies and gentlemen, he is an award-winning rapper, educator, author, activist, business owner who transitioned from being a middle school math teacher in Louisiana to a hip-hop heavyweight. From nationwide Knowledge for College financial literacy tours and a song that I also happened to debut on radio in LA called Pay Sally Maybach. He's one of the biggest in the movement of lifestyle called Mission Vision. He says, I make music to provide the soundtrack to someone's life who's trying to maximize their potential and walk in their purpose. And it's nonfiction. I happen to produce with him. He's an incredible artist, an incredible actor, incredible rapper. Being interviewed by our own Dr. Moore. I need you to start clapping right now and make some noise for D1!
I don't look like what I've been through, amen. When I ain't have outside money, I stayed in. When hard times showed up, I could've caved in. But mama didn't raise a loser, I played to win. I've been through a lot of drama, but it never broke.
Yeah.
Now I'm happier than ever. Ask the ones who know.
Good morning, BSA Summit. How y'all doing? I made sure to get here early. I flew from across the country a few days early just so I could feel the energy and the spirit in here. Because one thing that y'all might not know is I was here in 2022 when it was in Houston. Were any of y'all here when the summer was in Houston? Yeah. And I got so inspired by just the spirit of what was going on then that it actually made me go back and write a song based on the inspiration I got from here. Can I spit that song for y'all that I wrote? All right, look. I'm gonna do it a cappella so y'all can hear my lyrics, all right? Because so much about this summit is about, your purpose and you're worth more than just a paycheck or you're worth more than just whatever your jersey number is. So for the hook, I'm gonna need y'all to say, I wasn't born just to pay the bills, I wasn't born just to pay the bills, I wasn't born just to pay the bills. I got a purpose that's for real. I'm on this earth to make an impact they gonna feel, all right? Y'all got that? Check this out, look. Sometimes I look around this world that we live in and I cry. So many people don't live life. They pay bills, then they die. And I can't lie, I really want my piece of the pie. But while I got you here, I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. Look how we grind, like robots on an assembly line. But when our life is over, we can't get back none of that time. So what's your purpose? What's the reason that you trying to climb? Gotta be in love with the journey more than you in love with the shine. Just know this world ain't never gonna respect you like they supposed to. They get so mad when they hate on you, but God still promotes you. And when you stand on principles, they could never insult you. Yeah, I want my income, but I wanna impact the culture. I'm not competing with you, no. It's me versus my potential. Create your destiny. Don't settle for what life presents you. It's 10% talent, but 90% of it's mental. And when you make it to the top, it won't be accidental. I wasn't born just to pay the bills. What?
I wasn't born just to pay the bills.
What?
I wasn't born just to pay the bills.
I got a purpose that's for real. I'm on this earth to make an impact they gonna feel. Listen, since I know my maker and since I know my savior, see, I am not controlled by a green piece of paper. That social security number the government gave you still can't identify this thing we call favor. Unexplainable blessings that keep humanity guessing. Prices been on the rise, so poverty keeps progressing. People look in my eyes and wonder why I ain't stressing. Baby, it's because I'm wise enough to know I'm protected. Bigger than all my bills, cooler than all my coins, demanding all my dollars go work for me. I employ them. So I focus on family, splurging on peace of mind. Spending on shopping sprees ain't better than spending time with the people you love. I done ran them digits up, but $1 million can't compare to giving my grandma a hug. So I'm gonna work my butt off. My grind is real, but while I'm living, I'm gonna make an impact they gonna feel. I wasn't born just to pay the bills. What?
I wasn't born just to pay the bills.
What?
I
I got a purpose that's for real. I'm on this earth to make an impact they gonna feel. I've been waiting 2 years to spit that for y'all, man. Thank y'all. Yeah.
So this man next to me has been called the most hated man in hip hop. Jim Jones threatened to send people to hurt him. Rick Ross told him he needed to keep his mouth shut. Joe Budden said, quote, he gonna get his Christian ass killed. The most hated man in hip hop. All because he has chosen to confront the culture. So D, when did all this start, man?
All this started when I had a gun to my head as an LSU student living in Highland Plantation, of an apartment complex, Baton Rouge. But at senior year, y'all, me and my boy playing one-on-one on the basketball court at our apartment complex. These 3 dudes run up on us, and they were friends with a very popular celebrity in Baton Rouge. I'll let you fill in the blank if you feel like thinking hard. But
Start with a B.
and he might not be lying, but they call themselves trying to earn a stripe, you know what I mean? Earn a stripe with their partner. So somebody broke into their homeboy's car, and they come run up on us with a gun, thinking that we did it, while we on the basketball court, sweaty, just hooping, playing one-on-one, and dude holding a gun right here on my temple, threatening to blow my mother effing brains out, right? And I'm sitting there with my hands up like this, 2 months before graduation, about to graduate, about to really make my hood, my family, my city proud of me. I'm from New Orleans. And you heard me? You heard me? What's down, baby? So as I'm sitting there like this, the one thing I was thinking about was, dang, my life really about to be over right now. But I spent so much time worried about how to fit in and dimming my light so that I didn't offend people with the truth that I knew God gave me to spread in this world. And I was like, dang, I'm not going to get another chance. This is about to be a wrap. Thankfully, a young lady was walking to her second floor apartment, and she looked down at the court and saw this, and she gasped and said, oh, my God. And everybody heard her. So they looked up, and now that they had a witness, they got spooked. So they put the gun up, they ran off, took our cell phones, our wallets, our keys, you heard me? Never saw them again. That encounter, that close encounter with death, that made me say, man, I really, like, y'all know how people say live every day like it's your last? I really don't know how long I got here. So whatever I know in my heart is the truth. Whatever I know in my heart is meant to be spread in this world, like love, like kindness, like education, empowerment. I got to do that to the fullest. And whatever I'm going to do for my profession, that's what I do, but that's not who I am. So when I chose to become a rapper, it was simply because I looked at rap as a platform to educate people. Because I was a middle school teacher before I ever became a rapper. And so for me, I looked at how to use the rap game to spread a message of being real, being righteous, and being relevant. But y'all know what's some of the most dominant themes that we hear talked about in rap? Y'all could just call them out loud. What do people rap about? Murder, BITCHs. What else?
Leeches.
They know. All that. So now here we are, you fast forward about a decade and some change, and D1 is here. Like D1 has arrived. Collaborated with a lot of the biggest artists and toured the country about 10, 15 times, international, millions and millions of streams. And as I'm getting these platforms, I'm not afraid, Doc, to go on there and say, hey, this might make some people mad, but we need to throw the whole hip-hop culture away. Because it's 50 years old. How many of y'all done heard people celebrating 50th year hip-hop this year? Y'all done heard people talking about that? It's 50 years old, but we don't even know what hip-hop's identity is anymore. Because we can't hear Sexy Red and be like, oh, that's hip-hop, but then hear Lauryn Hill or Rhapsody and be like, well, that's hip-hop too. Really? We can't hear NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk and say that's hip-hop, but then hear Kendrick Lamar and say, well, that's hip-hop too. Really? You can't go on the college campus no more and be like, oh, these young black brothers, they go to college. Because they looking like the brothers in the hood. With the way they dress, with the way they talking, with the way they acting. Because they feel like their blackness is tied into being a real nigga. And a real nigga is somebody who what? You got to just act like you too cool for school and you don't care. And you just, yeah, like I'm connected to the streets, you heard me? Man, I don't know if y'all know, but I'm currently a college professor as well at Tufts University and at Harvard University. I'm a fellow, right? None of my students are from the trenches. Not one of my students is from the trenches. So when they came in class that first day, and I seen everybody just with this posture and just with this aura about them, like they're really from the trenches, I said, stop. We about to kill that on the first day of school. Because we don't need that. We got so many people that's not comfortable being authentic. And at this point, if I can offer you all anything with this short time on stage, it's that authenticity wins, y'all.
Yeah.
Authenticity wins. And it also gets you some enemies.
Come on.
But think about it. Your enemies will never be the other people that's being authentic. Your enemies will be the people that's imposters.
Yeah.
Your enemy is going to be the fake people. So when I see a Rick Ross mad at me online, because I said, brother, you a grandpa.
Wow.
You almost 50 years old, and when I listen to your new music that you just put out, you glorifying killing people. You glorifying selling dope. You stole your name.
Wow.
There's a real dude named Freeway Ricky Ross that's out here in Los Angeles. That's my homie. You stole his name. You stole his identity, all this. And I'm just like, brother, you can do better. I love you too much to not be honest with you. And when he hears that, guess what his reply was, y'all? Y'all could go online and Google this if y'all ain't seen it already. His reply was, I give out turkeys every Thanksgiving. What you talking about? I'm feeding the hood. So one day out the year, you feeding the hood turkeys, and 364 days out the year, you feeding people's minds poison. Do the math.
D, let me ask you this, man. So were you on Shade 45 when you called them out?
Yeah, I was on Sway in the morning.
So he basically called Rick Ross, Jim Jones, Meek Mill, he called them clout chasers. He said, y'all middle-aged men putting this poison out. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, man. So what was the response?
So Rick Ross started talking about turkeys.
Yeah.
And then in addition to talking about turkeys, he was deflecting. He tried to make fun of my New Orleans accent. I'm like, people love my accent. You trying to make fun of it, you heard me? He called me basket head, in New Orleans, we call that ribbon. Like, oh, you ribbon? Like, boy, I got a lot I could make fun of with you, but I'm not even stooping to that level because I knew that the world was watching.
Yeah.
And it was important when the world is watching to make sure that you show that you could not be weak. You're not going to bully me at all, but I'm also not about to go down into the pig's pen. You feel me? So he went to making fun of me, calling me Lil Man, say I look like a fake Rasta, calling me, names.
Right.
But deflecting from the point I made.
How did Meek Mill respond?
Meek Mill responded and said, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. We do it all. I rap about prison reform and I rap about killing niggas. You hear me? I do it all. I've been this way. And I was like, wow. I respect your honesty, though. I respected his honesty more than anybody, right?
But how did you respond to threats on your life? Because I heard Farrakhan say, leave him alone.
Yeah, so that was, Jim Jones was indirectly green-lighting me. You know what green-lighting somebody is? That's like saying, hey, I'm not going to do you nothing because I got too much going on. I got too much to lose. But see the little young, hungry vultures that look up to me, that rock with me? I'm basically telling them like, oh, you open game, like you fair game. Like if any of y'all want to earn a stripe, you heard me, and go do him something, hey, I might have a cousin or something that might not like what you said about me, D, so that.
How do you deal with these upper middle class black music executives who got their kids in elite schools in the suburbs who sometimes are the brains behind some of the music? What has your experience been with them?
Yeah, so when I was in a young, vulnerable position, I was looking up to these people because I thought that they had something that I desired, right? As I got closer to these people, I finally, I done got enough views online, enough streams to be in their company. When I got around them, y'all, a couple things. Number one, the people that we put on these pedestals and we start to make idols out of them, they're never as smart as we think they are. When you get around them, a lot of times you realize, like, man, that magic that I thought you had, it wasn't nothing. It was just proximity. I just wasn't close to you, right? And when you get around them, you realize that they are ruled by their persona. They are prisoners to their persona, Doc, meaning they've created an image and they've created a certain income for themselves, and now they would do anything to preserve that image and that income, right? So right now, everybody taken aback by Diddy. Do y'all know how many people in this city and in this industry been knowing how Diddy was rocking for about the past decade, maybe 2 decades? But they just ain't say nothing because their jobs were tied into Diddy remaining in the public eye and being the face of black excellence and all this type of stuff. So this is something that we call cognitive dissonance, and I teach about this in my course. It's the separation between you knowing what's right in your heart and actually doing what's right in real life. And this whole culture has become infected with this state of cognitive dissonance to where we'll come here and listen to all this love and this knowledge and this black unity being spit, and then we'll leave and we'll throw them earbuds on, and you listening to death, destruction, disrespect of females, glorification of murder, drug dealing, and we are okay with it. That's what it is. We're okay with it because we've seen that modeled for us for so long.
D, how do you respond to them saying, well, man, the music doesn't impact me?
The music doesn't impact me. I'm sure a lot of y'all, raise your hand if you're going to say the music doesn't impact you. Raise your hand. I know everybody going to raise their, oh, they scared to say, they raise their hand now. So if you know the music impacts you, then what makes you still consume this music? Knowing it's going to impact you. Because I tell you, Doc, I could relate to y'all. I was the dude growing up in New Orleans, listening to the Hot Boys, Juvenile, BG, Turk, Lil Wayne, listening to No Limit Records, listening to this stuff about murdering and killing. I could rap you every lyric to their songs, Doc, but I was going to a magnet school making straight A's. I was that person that was like, well, I'm a success story. It never made me go sell no dope. It never made me go shoot nobody. So it don't really impact me. But then there's this subtle state of being complicit with things that ends up happening to me to where I'm like, oh, it's not necessarily making me do anything different, but when I see my boys start to act different, I'm more hesitant to call them out on their behavior because we simply modeling what we've been listening to.
So D, why is hip-hop music, why is it untouchable? How come we're not allowed to critique it? We'll talk about Trump all day long.
All day.
And I told somebody, the music has done much worse to the culture than Donald Trump could ever do.
Facts. We've been consuming this toxic music for over 30 years, y'all. 30 years. It was a game plan. Just like how Doc showed y'all, it was a game plan for Hitler and his people to come over here and figure out how to enslave people and how to keep them down. It was a game plan by the white industry executives back in the late 80s, you heard me, the early 90s, to say, if we can start to put all the marketing dollars behind this negative, toxic music, we're going to program the consumers. Ooh. In my college course, I teach about the 3 C's: creators, consumers, and commissioners. The commissioners came together and said, we are going to put money in the hands of the creators who are willing to rap about murder, drug dealing, disrespecting women. And we're going to fund that type of music so that the consumers start to jam to it because they get programmed by the radio. They get programmed by the music videos they see. And now, after a while, you got people that are begging to consume delicious poison. That's what it is. It's delicious. Them beats, them hooks, you hear me? All that. It's delicious, but it's poison. So now we can't call it out? Not on my watch.
Yeah, I tell people, I don't know any other group of men who use their platform to call their women out of their name. Give me another group.
I'll wait. Anybody? A dude tried to tell me the other day, this dude named Matt Hoffa, I'm on his podcast in New York, My Expert Opinion. This dude tried to tell me the other day, I said the same thing you just said. He was like, well, you must not listen to country music. They rap about killing each other all the time in country music. They rap about all this. They doing this. We want to try so hard to hold on to what is just, it's negative. It's toxic. And it might not hit the same until you got to bury your best friend like I had to bury mine. When my partner Carl got killed in New Orleans, in our old hood, you heard me? In the East. When he got killed and I had to go be a pallbearer at the funeral, and I got back in my car after the funeral, and when I put my music on, I realized for the first time, Doc, I'm still jamming and enjoying the music that's literally the soundtrack to what just happened to my best friend. That's the first time I got goosebumps under this hoodie right now, man, because that stuff hit me. And I don't know if y'all had that moment yet.
When is the BET Awards? Come on, next week?
June, late June is when it comes on. So we're gonna see a lot of prostitution. We're gonna see a lot of we're gonna call it black excellence, but we're gonna see a lot
it's
of
borderline pornographic.
celebration of basically pornography. Yeah, we're gonna call it black excellence though. We're gonna call it the biggest night in music. You know what I mean? Crazy.
No, they said it's an expression of black culture. That's what they said. That's how they advertise. So let me ask you this. So what you've been taking on, man, is because you messing with people's money. You mess with people's lifestyle. You mess with how they want to bring up young folks, man. So what are some of the things you've dealt with behind the scenes since you went public with your criticism of all this stuff?
Yeah, so I'm gonna just go from the top down. So the biggest one would be threats on my life.
Yeah.
Real life, threats on my life. The second one is people who are saying, well, D, behind closed doors, you know I rock with you, I love you, I'm your friend. But publicly, I'm also cool with that other dude that you called out. Or I'm cool with some of them other people. So publicly, I can't really rock with you.
Wow.
Man, that hurts your feelings, especially when you've been knowing some of these people for 15 and 20 years. And they telling you, I agree with you, D, behind closed doors. But publicly, it's more beneficial to my pockets to stay cool with these people that I don't even agree with. That just show you where our bar is set, man, as a people. If you really got the bag, like, look, by the grace of God, like, my bag in good shape, you know what I'm saying? When you really got the bag, like all these people be claiming that they got, you be okay with, hey, all money ain't good. Yeah. So if I know that I'm doing something that ain't pleasing to my God, you heard me? My God is more important than my bag. Yeah, so if you really got that bag, then you cool with saying, dang, maybe I did need that wake-up call. I done had this man be my wake-up call before. When I was at LSU and he was my undergrad black history professor and I just first started rapping, he was like, boy, you better not be in my class making A's, talking all this righteous stuff, and then on these songs glorifying killing people. You don't sell no dope, D1. What are you talking about? You out here talking about having all these women and all this stuff. Man, a couple football players just slept with your girl. So what you talking about? Yeah. So where all my football players at in here? Raise your hand. I hate y'all. I hate all of y'all, by the way. I'm still scarred, you hear me? I'm still scarred from all them years ago, so I really hate y'all on the cool.
So, D,
hold on. What you said, dog? What you said? Oh, you still love me? I don't love you back, brother. I don't.
Let me tell you what happened. I was at an SEC school, and they took me about football practice, all right? So before I walk in the facility, I hear the music. Nigga this, bitch this. When I walk in, the music changes. It changes. Because I think the white coaches saw that a real man stepped on the scene. Turn it off. Why do the players tolerate it?
Man. Y'all could make some noise for that.
See, you can't talk about this, D. It hit them too hard.
Yeah. I'd rather it hit y'all hard after y'all done seen me for 3 days and know, man, D1 cool, D1 taking every picture, holding every conversation. Yeah. I'm really a person that just loves us, man.
Absolutely.
That's all. I don't have no ulterior motive. I ain't come here with no get-rich-quick scheme. Like, if y'all bump my music, that's great. If y'all choose not to, that's okay. Like, that's where my blessings come from. But I just have a truth that I possess, and I know it's coming from a pure place, and I done dealt with this before, thinking I ain't got no more time to deliver the truth. At this point, I lived through that.
But D, it's so bad, we give these people awards. We give them keys to the city.
Yeah. Y'all, it's all effed up, man. It is all effed up. And now it's just like, who's going to be bad enough and bold enough to be seen as an outcast? They look at me as an outcast. And all I'm saying is like, let's not disrespect our women. Let's not glorify killing our people. Right. Let's not glorify selling dope to our own community.
No, the drug selling is the manufacture of it, the selling of it, and the using of it.
And the using of it. So when
I didn't know what a Percocet was till I heard the song.
Yep.
And I got middle-class Negroes with MBAs in Austin, Texas, dancing to the music. I'm like, what they talking about?
Yep. Dancing to the music. So that's where we at. So just know where we're at as a culture and then like sit with that. Because if you're 18, 19 years old, you might sit with it and it'd be like, dang, I'm aware now, but I ain't all the way in a position where I could make like a hard left turn and deviate from it. But just know that there's alternatives to all this music that's out there.
Right.
Amazing alternatives, by the way. People making amazing music. You could curate what you want your playlist to sound like nowadays. So there's alternatives to it. But also, there's a feeling that I can't put a dollar amount on when you go to sleep at night and you know that even if all these people down here don't accept me or don't get me, I know that I'm living a purpose-driven life right now. And I know that you got people out here that done sold 1 million records but ain't changed no lives. And that's scary. That you done got elevated to the top of your craft, but that elevation came from the devil. Because he'll elevate you too and say, oh, that's all you want, some jewelry? The devil is like an NIL deal, you heard me? Seriously, what you want? You want cars? You want jewelry? That's all you need to serve me and do my work? Say less. I got you. I got you. The devil is like some of these predatory NIL people, man. Straight up, I got you. And then you elevate all the way up there. And one day, somehow, it's going to hit you. That reality going to hit you. And as much as you try to outwit and outsmart the devil, it's going to hit you. And you can't get them 30 years back.
Let me ask you this, D. You were on the Breakfast Club several times. So tell us what happened the last time you were on there back in March.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Okay.
When I went on there, they thought I had been on there before, which lets me know that I must have been overqualified to be on there. Could have been on there a long time ago. But like I said, y'all, Ephesians 6:12, you not my op. You not my op. I don't battle against flesh and blood. Even when people threatening me and calling me names.
Come on, man.
No, it's evil spirits and principalities in this world. So I know that with what I represent, a lot of times, and y'all know it from being black athletes. Y'all know it from being at a lot of these PWIs. We got to work twice as hard to get half the opportunity or half the recognition. And you better not blow it. It's like when I played basketball and when I was a freshman, I got cut from the team. But sophomore year, right, I got put on varsity. But the coach ain't really rock with me. So although I could have been starting on varsity, he had me coming off the bench 10th grade year. Soon as I got in that game, I knew one mistake, I'm coming out. That's how it is with a lot of us. So I was on the Breakfast Club in March. That was the first time. As soon as I got on there, I didn't know what kind of energy to expect from them. Surprisingly, they were like, oh, D1, this our homie, this our dude. You know what I mean? He's on here. So as I'm there, we talking about what I have going on, talking about me being at Harvard. I made sure we're not finna come up here and talk about me having beef with Rick Ross and Jim Jones and Meek Mill. No, we finna talk about how I'm a fellow at Harvard University.
Come on.
We finna talk about how I'm a professor at Tufts University.
Come on, man.
We finna talk about all the albums I got. I got 12 albums out.
Come on, D.
All the times I done charted on Billboard. We finna talk about all that in addition to talking about what everybody wanna hear. You know what I mean? So me being on that show, it was just an interesting vibe because it's brothers who I know. These brothers agree with me. Charlamagne said, D1, you are necessary for the culture. You are needed. Before the end of the show, I told them about something I started called the Platinum Pledge. In the music industry, right, going platinum is the ultimate standard of like achievement and success. I turned platinum into an acronym. People leading a transformation involving newly unified mindsets, right? The Platinum Pledge, I launched it January 1st of this year. The Platinum, excuse me, sweetheart, in the boot, if you could click on that that button that says the Platinum Pledge. So on my website, I started something, Doc, that says, take the Platinum Pledge. A shift is happening right now. The purpose of the Platinum Pledge is to publicly unify all the people who vow not to create, support, or promote music that glorifies murder, drug dealing and drug use, the disrespect of women, and sexual irresponsibility. And I announced that on the Breakfast Club. Guess what Charlamagne said? And Charlamagne, cool with all that, he said, oh, I support the Platinum Pledge. I'm signing that. I'm rocking with that. There's a way when you're not afraid to be bold and be yourself, but you're still cool, you're still relational, and you dope at whatever your craft is. There's a way that as long as you continue to exercise communication, it'll lead to unification. So that's why I'm like, oh, I'm there. The summit, I'm there. This interview, I'm there. This show, I'm there. This speaking engagement, I'm there. Because I know that what I'm talking about is the truth. I know it's bigger than me. And I know that people are down to say, yeah, we do need a shift. We need that. So now all the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have signed the Platinum Pledge is letting me know, Doc, people tired. So I'm unifying us. And now that I'm unifying us, wait to see this shift that's about to happen. Pretty soon, people are going to be the outcasts if they want to hear music that's like, hey, play that kill my own people music. Hey, play that sell dope to my own community music. Hey, play that music where women disrespecting themselves. And that music where men is just disrespecting women. Play all that. It's shifting, y'all.
I saw a video, and we got time for questions in a minute. I saw a video. What's her name? Ice Spice?
Ice Spice, yes.
Super talented.
Yeah. Talented?
No, I mean.
Okay.
I think people are guiding her career in the wrong way, but it's talented.
Yeah, she's talented.
But I remember they were showing a video. I was at a barbershop or something like that, and the video was out of order. Okay. And I'm like, there are no adults on the video set who can say, no, we're not doing that.
No, because they're getting paid off of this video. You got people who are predators that will manage these artists, knowing this artist is going to get murdered one day. This artist is going to go to jail one day. This artist is going to be full of STDs one day. But because they're getting a 20% commission off of these artists, they'll sit back and not say anything, but they're not letting their own kids listen to the artists that they manage. Is that not child abuse? Is that not some type of predatory behavior? You feel me? Yeah. That's what's happening oftentimes in hip-hop.
All right, we got time for some question and answers. I don't know if we have any mics out in the audience. If not...
Hold on, I want to rap one more time. I can rap something else for y'all? I can spit something for y'all? All right. Because I know this vibe very well.
They tight.
Oh, it's challenging a lot of what we've been raised.
I'm looking at my kids.
Yeah.
I told my other daughter, I said, you take an AP chemistry, you listen to this nonsense.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen, I know these vibes, y'all. I know these vibes.
What is the vibe, D?
The vibe is, they ain't told not one lie on that stage, but this is not what I wanted to hear this morning. Dang. Because now I got to think. Now I got to feel away. Now I got to be in touch with my conscience and my spirit again. They want us to be blind consumers, right? So I wrote something that this is explicitly for this type of crowd at this type of time. I said, what's the point of writing all of these lyrics if I'm rapping to an audience that ain't trying to hear it? They'd rather me blow a bag than rap about building wealth. They'd rather me get some brain than rap about mental health. Don't censor me. Eventually, try to make sense of me. I don't need your dollars. I need you to think sensibly. You feel good now that you're vegan. That's funny. If you're still promoting garbage, you just a healthy dummy. My city don't even love me. I'm calling it how it is. I'm a threat to the power structure that's brainwashing our kids. I'm fracturing all the egos of illegitimate heroes. I only look up to one man, because he died, then he rose. I keep it too real, because life don't last too long. If everybody likes me, I'm doing something too wrong. Maybe in time, they'll appreciate my words like Nipsey. Till then, I'm going to see how far keeping it real gets me. Yeah.
Come on.
Let's get some questions. Let's get some dialogue. You hear me? Yeah.
And we want questions, all right?
Okay. First of all, I'm blown away by all of this. I produced Tupac's last concert, spent a lot of time with him. You have the same exact energy of him. You amplify something, and I think he was about to make a change that would have changed the world and changed hip-hop. Do you think there are more people? Because what I see a lot of followers, you know, coming from a sports background, entertainment background. I was one of the original owners of House of Blues and all of that. I see a lot of followers. Doctor, when you were speaking, you're absolutely right. These guys are doing exactly what the plan is so they can make money, but not really what they really feel. And then they find themselves in it. Do you think there's going to be more who are going to take take on the responsibility of doing what they truly feel instead of what they think is going to sell?
I absolutely do. Like I said, the shift is happening right now, brother. In the past 6 months, I've been on almost every major hip hop media outlet, from the Breakfast Club to the Pivot to just so many outlets that are hearing this message now. And the key is, I talk about the 3 C's: creators, consumers, and commissioners. Who do y'all think, pop quiz, who do y'all think has the most power out of creators, consumers, or commissioners? How many people say consumers? Raise your hand. You just want a free Dr. Moore book. Very good, very good. Because listen, there's way more consumers than anything. So yes, we're here to empower artists because we have huge platforms and we're blessed to be able to reach a lot of people. But the goal is for the consumers to become consumer activists. Because now, y'all, since before all of y'all were born, they have been pushing this on your parents, on your grandparents.
Yeah.
To the point where when you come out the womb, you automatically have a taste
Wow.
for this poison.
Wow.
You have a taste for it. So now the fact that we're having these conversations on big stages like this, the shift is going to start happening. Great question.
How do you feel like, as a whole, like a Black community, we could like reprogram how like all of us are thinking and like feeding off of all of this like negativity like within the music industry and like stuff like that? Like, what's some ways that you feel like we can all like change our consciousness like as a whole?
Well, the first thing is like when you go to rehab for something, first we have to admit what's going on. Right now, what I'm seeing from the culture is they still don't want to admit that this is a problem. So many people don't want to admit it. I'm just let me be a real one. At least admit, like, hey, this music is toxic, but I enjoy it. Can you raise your hand if that's you? This music is toxic, but I enjoy it. BSA is where the change is starting, right here, because y'all are being honest. So now that we know that the music is toxic, but we enjoy it, now you can never tell a man stop selling dope, but not give him an alternative to what he can sell that'll be legal and make him some money. So that's where we have to say, well, we got to have alternatives to this music that's got the same dope beats, that got the same dope flows and lyricism and all that type of stuff, but it's not going to perpetuate the negativity that's being pushed on us. And that's where artists got to do their job. Just because you're positive is not an excuse to be corny. A lot of people like, oh, y'all don't want murder your own people music? Good. I make church music. And then you listen to it and it's like, hey, I am D1 and I'm on the microphone. And it's like, that ain't it, brother. That ain't it, you know? But I can honestly say that the alternatives exist out there. This is where marketing comes into play. I was a business major in college. I had a concentration in marketing. We also have to be able to market ourselves in a way to where we get on your radar. I can't say that it's the consumer's job to find me. If I was a product in the store, you heard me? If I was Apple Jacks, I can't just say, well, I'm going to be up on the shelf. And when they come in there, they got to just come to me. No, I got to know how to make my product appealing to you all. So that's why I'm active on, where y'all at all day, every day? Social media, Instagram. So that's why I love when it's like, oh yeah, I'm on there too heavy. How many of y'all done stop me in the hallways and talk to me like, brother, I follow you online, or I'll be seeing your content online, and that stuff mean a lot to me, and da-da-da. So many people. That's good. It's like, yeah, I'm finna, if I got 600-something thousand people following me, I'm gonna make sure that I treat that like a congregation that I was blessed with. Now I gotta be a good steward of them people. You feel me? So that's all, brother. We gotta do our job, but we got to have people that's honest enough to say, whoa, this is a problem.
All right, got one here. Dr. Du, licensed psychologist, Texas Tech, clinical sports psychology. Couple questions for you, bro. Continuing with that idea, so you talked about, ain't no excuse for being corny, right? So is there any artist that's actually rapping and making music that bop, but that's also got substance to it? Like, I think that's a huge part of it. Like, who am I listening to, right? Because we flooded with everybody that's not on that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what's been the highlight of your experience as a fellow at Harvard and teaching at Tufts? And then Other piece is, yeah, that's it.
Let's go with one. All right.
Yeah. So the first question, in terms of like, who are the other artists that are making dope music, brother? Like people. So the two most mainstream ones that we all know is who? Because they just wanted them to be beefing with each other, but one of them
Dude,
backed out.
I heard Kendrick Lamar calling women bitches on his music.
That's what I'm about to say. Like, and that's what we don't want to. Because the two most mainstream ones are who? J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, right? Let me show you how divisive this culture is. Number one, people call J. Cole a punk for saying he didn't want beef with Kendrick. People literally call him a punk, right? He was like, I really don't hate this dude deep down, right? So the culture wanted to celebrate them two beefing, and then J. Cole backs out, and people say, oh, he lame for that. He lame, right? Wow. But to Doc's point, even the people that the culture has pushed up there, everybody has this line that they draw to where they say, well, you know what? I'm going to stand for something positive and righteous, but I'm still going to give people enough of the ear candy that they want. I'm still gonna call women bees sometime in my music. I'm still gonna have enough bars that's implying like, you know, violence and all that to where I don't seem like I'm too preachy, you know? And we gotta ask ourselves, what are we comfortable with in terms of black culture, in terms of our standards for like, oh, this is something righteous and positive? Because everybody, when people come up to me, number one, they be like, oh, you look like J. Cole. I'll be like, okay, no, I don't. But number two, my thing is like, brother, you got a bunch of Christian artists who are, some like to call themselves Christian artists, some don't, but people who are like, hey, my line is whatever gonna make God proud. That's what I'm putting out there, right? You got some people that choose to do that. You got people who been doing it, like a Lupe Fiasco, who's one of my brothers, you know what I'm saying? You got people like a Big Crit, who, these are people I just got music with that I'm naming to y'all, right? That they have been out here. I fail to believe that anybody doesn't have the ability in this digital generation, that anybody doesn't have the ability to find an alternative to murder music and drug music. I fail to believe that. So when people ask that type of stuff, I'm just like, you can literally go on Spotify or Apple Music and you could type in positive hip hop or conscious hip hop or Christian hip hop or clean rap. You can literally type that in and you're gonna see 300 artists pop up.
Wow.
Get busy, you hear me? And how is it being a Harvard fellow? Oh, man, it's been amazing. I just put an album out. Y'all should check this out. It's called From the Hood to Harvard.
That brother was so excited when he got that fellowship. He called me. That boy's jumping through the roof.
I was hyped. I was hyped because I knew it was symbolic. Honestly, we all got our hood to Harvard. It's just a metaphor, y'all. We all got our hood, which is our starting point in life, right? Somewhere where we started from, and we all got our version of Harvard. It might be another school. It might be University of Texas. It might be Villanova. It might be Tulane. But for some people, whatever their version of Harvard is, between their starting point and that point, they had to change who they are along the way. I was thankful that I got to Harvard by being exactly who you see on this stage, brother. And that's been the most amazing feeling, is to be up there and not to be like, oh, what do y'all have to provide to me? It's me knowing I got something that I need to provide to y'all.
Come on, man. So D, you make a lot of money.
Come on, Doc. Hold on.
What kind of car do you drive? What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a 2018 Honda Accord. You hear me? Proudly, too.
Proudly.
Oh, that thing fire. That thing fire. No, I got the blue one. You heard me? With the rims. It's the sport. Like, I'm proud of that because I went to Ghana, West Africa, when I was 13 years old. And I went over there with my Jabot jeans and with my Soldier Reeboks, you heard me? Just thinking like, man, I'm finna be fresh when I go to Ghana. Not knowing, man, them people don't care about you being fresh. You get over there and you realize that they got something that we don't have.
Wow.
They have this joy that comes from within.
Come on, man.
Literally, they're radiating with this joy and this appreciation for life that I was like, where can I buy that at? And I realized you can't buy it, but it's also something that your name brands or your jewelry can't buy, right? So it made it to where all of that vanity that was so present. I come from the city where Birdman's nickname was the #1 stunner. What that means, I know y'all know what that means. What that means is Birdman, coming from my city when I was young, was like, hey, when I start making a lot of money, which he been making a lot of money since he was a teenager, he was like, I'm going to make sure that I show it off with my jewelry and with my cars. That's going to show everybody what I'm worth, and that's gonna show everybody that this is where I place my value at. By the time I started to make some real money and achieve success in the game, I was like, I want to be the antithesis of that. I want to be the dude that they like, oh, we know he getting it. We see him on this tour, on this, millions of streams, but he hop out a Honda Accord proudly. You heard me? Because it's not the car that's valuable, it's the person hopping out the car that's more valuable. You feel me?
Come on, man. Yeah.
So that's been my goal. Because then what that's gonna do, we gotta get her with a question. What that's gonna do is that's gonna show somebody else that when I achieve success, I'm not a car person. If I was a car person and I got the money for it, I would go splurge on cars. I'm just not a car person, y'all. Like I'm not on cars or jewelry like that. So because of that, we got so many people in our community that think this is what I'm supposed to do when I get money. We got a culture that incentivizes you to be like, well, where you bought your drip from? How much this cost? Man, I need some PacSun jeans that cost $49.99. You heard me? Nike gave me these shoes, these Air Force Ones for free. I got this white hoodie from H&M yesterday for $24.99. And this Lakers jersey was a birthday present that was free. You feel me? Like, we got to start to break down them stereotypes of how we supposed to be spending our money. Because when it's time to pay taxes or when it's time to invest our money for the future or pay them expenses that we got, them people going to be nowhere to be found. The ones who was applauding you while you was blowing it on cars and jewelry.
Time for a couple more questions. Hit one there, and then we'll go in the system.
Who first? We got a lot. Yeah.
Coy Love, go ahead. It's on you.
Oh, yeah. I have a question for you right here. Third row right here in the front for you. Right here. Okay. My name is Coy Love. I'm a recent graduate here at USC. But my question is, you talked about living in your purpose. Obviously, like, you work in an industry where it can get scary, it can get spooky. So can you talk about just how God has been sustaining you, honestly, like living in your purpose and what you see your future as and how you plan on changing that culture?
How I plan on changing the culture and continuing to live in my purpose. I love when people be like, so D, where you trying to get to? What you trying to ultimately do? I be like, I'm doing it. What you mean? Like, I'm doing it already. Everybody act like, yeah, like walking in your purpose is just something that when you get to be 50 or something, hopefully you'll walk in your purpose. Listen, don't ever forget this metaphor. My name is D1. That's my stage name. But y'all know my real name? David. You hear me? Who did David defeat in the biblical times?
Goliath.
Goliath, right? What did David use to defeat Goliath?
Slingshot.
A slingshot. Don't ever forget this metaphor, right? We all have our own Goliaths in our lives. For some of us, our Goliaths are racism, generational poverty, depression, anxiety. We all got our own Goliaths, right? Police brutality, whatever it is. But we also have a little bit of David in us, which is that brave warrior that knows I wasn't born just to pay the bills. I was put here like to defeat these Goliaths. It's already written, y'all. It's biblical. It's already written that we was put here to defeat our Goliaths. The key is to find your slingshot. Once you find your slingshot, this is the most important decision you'll have to make. Once you find your slingshot, by the way, your slingshot is your special gifts.
Yeah.
The things that you are gifted at. When David was about to fight Goliath, y'all know that the king, King Saul was like, oh, use my sword, use my shield. David was like, no, that's your gift.
Come on, man.
My gift is this slingshot. You heard me?
Right.
I know what I'm gifted at.
Yeah.
The key is to make sure that you use your slingshot in a way that God designed it to be used for. Because just like you could use your slingshot to defeat the Goliaths in this world, in my industry, we got a lot of people that's using their gift, but instead of defeating Goliaths, they throwing rocks at their own community and killing their own people by using their gift, but by misusing their gift. So once you find your slingshots in life, the key is to always just say, I'm going to hold on to my slingshot, not Dr. Moore's slingshot, not your slingshot, D. I'm going to use my slingshot for the purpose God designed it for, which is going to mean that I'm spending my whole lifetime defeating the Goliaths in this world. And that is how you walk in your purpose. Awesome. It's that simple, yo. It's that simple.
Last question.
Hi, my name is Trinity Woods. I'm with Marist College. So you, thanks guys. You talked a little bit about how like people like in the suburbs, and it's kind of silly, but we know it doesn't impact us as much as it does those kids who might grow up in the hood. I was kind of thinking, like, do you think it's purposeful that a lot of these artists don't have higher education, and the people that they rap to are seeing them and kind of see that they don't need that? Are they like, we're going out and recruiting these kids, stopping them from getting to the level you're at and Dr. Moore's at, where they're in these classes being told this isn't what our community needs, and they know and understand it might not impact them, but it's impacting the others in the community?
I'm going to say this, and I hope y'all take this with y'all. You don't need a college degree to have a moral compass.
Yeah.
You don't need a college degree to have a moral compass. What we have is a spiritual war that's going on right now, to where it's good versus evil and the lines are being blurred, to where people can't even differentiate from if this is positive or healthy for us as human beings anymore. So when people say, well, I'm speaking for my community, one phrase that I hate the most is, I'm a product of my environment. The goal is for you to find your slingshot and use it so that your environment can become a product of you.
Wow.
That's the goal in life.
Oh, man.
All of y'all are already 90% further than a lot of the people that you grew up with right now, if you never do one more thing in your life.
Come on, D.
That comes with a responsibility as well. And heavy is the head that wears the crown.
That's right.
Real talk. But, hey, I'd rather spend my life being chosen than spending my life looking at people that were chosen and being like, why not me? So all of us, we have that burden of leadership upon us, and beware of the excuses that the culture and their society and their haters and that the enemy, the devil, will try to use to trick you out of your mission. Because they've called me a clout chaser. Y'all know how much sleep I've lost behind thinking I was a clout chaser? None. None. Man, you'll never trick me and make me think I'm a clout chaser, boy. Please stop.
One last question. Thanks.
Thank you. D1, thank you for being on the front lines for this fight. Like, it's easy to speak about these things at home, but you're out loud about it. And I just want to thank you for that, as well as, can you speak to, let me go back for a second. So when I was growing up and, you know, my favorite artists were Snoop and Biggie and all those, I realized that when I gave my life to God, my life at the time was emulating what was in the music. So every other city we go, every other video, no matter where I go, I see the same. So I felt like I was becoming that same beep and that same hoe in the videos, right? Because that was what I was listening to, and that was what was poisoning me. And sometimes we think it's just fun to listen to, but how often do our lives emulate or mimic the music? So when I gave my life to God, he told me to take my CDs at the time and scratch them up and throw them away. I want you to speak to God's transforming power and what he can do for your life when you say, God, I want you to change my desires. I want something different for my life. Can you speak to that?
Of course I can. I made that decision in college, y'all. I made that decision in college at LSU. The football players had slept with my old lady, right? All freshman year, by the way. That happens. Y'all gonna stop laughing, bro. You gonna stop laughing, brother. One of my best friends back in New Orleans, not Carl, but another one named Ryan, he got murdered. I got the text message while I was in freshman English class that he got murdered. My roommate, who was from the suburbs of New Orleans, by the way, decided he'd get to LSU and he want to start selling dope out of our dorm room. Negro, you just left biology class and you out here selling dope. Like what are you doing, bro? We not that. You don't even come from that. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with that. I fall out with him. And then I get cut from LSU's basketball team. I was nice in high school. I could have played D2, D3. Doc don't believe me. But I went to LSU because I wanted to play D1, hence the name, D1, right? Went to LSU. Y'all know how politics go in college sports. LSU's head coach was best friends with this white dude's head coach in high school. So they had that one walk-on spot reserved for him already.
Are you sure about that, man?
Man, Doc, if you don't stop, brother, yes. I promise you, Doc.
So they always say it was politics.
Doc, look at him, all right. All this happens freshman year. And all these things that I had built my identity on, Thais, they all got stripped away from me. It was in that moment that I was like, I need to build my identity, and my foundation need to be built on something that's immovable. Somebody that ain't gonna sell me out, somebody that can't be taken off the face of this earth, something like that. And that's when I found God for the first time in my life, in a real way. We black, man, and I'm from the South. We grew up going to church like that was normal. But it wasn't until I was lost on that campus that I realized, man, I've been going to church my whole life, but I ain't got no relationship with God. No relationship. And that's when I formally gave my life to Christ in a real way. And at that point, it reshaped the way I looked at the world. It reshaped what I placed value in. And I said, dang, do I want to live to try to impress 8 billion people, which is an impossible task, or to simply try to impress one person, which is my creator? The math just made sense. I'd rather focus on this one. And everybody ain't going to like me, but they hated on Jesus. So it's okay. So before we conclude today, I'm just curious. Is anybody like, yo, everything I've taken from this conference has been amazing, but one thing is I want to form a closer relationship with God as I move forward, too, to dictate everything I'm doing.
Come on, D.
Let me see.
Come on, D.
Let me see. Yeah.
Come on, D.
This powerful. Yeah. This powerful. Yeah. So that's what that is, Thais, and it just reshaped what I valued in life at that point. It reshaped everything. And then God is going to use the right people along the way. When you make that decision, brother, who just raised your hand, when y'all make that decision publicly and you ain't embarrassed to say that, God going to be like, bet, God put a Dr. Moore in my life. You heard me? During that same year, as I'm going through all that, he not even knowing it because I'm still making A's in school, in his class especially. But God put a Dr. Moore and a Thais in my life. God puts people in your life. God put a D1 in front of y'all today to see like it's possible, yo. All this is possible. That's what we want more than anything, man. We can't put a dollar amount on that.
Give me a hand, y'all.